However, is CRM even emotionally available at all? There are some researchers who question whether marketing practice is actually capable of forming a relationship as we understand it in theory. The position is that up until recently, marketing didn't view consumers as people who could build long-lasting relationships, but they were more people that could be exploited. So there are arguments that when marketers design and implement a marketing mix, there is actually little consideration of what might be the best way of serving the customer. Rather, the intention is to subject the customer to a range of actions that deliver the most profit for the company. What Gronrus says is, indeed, it would not be unfair to suggest that far from being concerned with the customer's interests, i.e. somebody for whom something is done, the views implicit in the 4P approach is somebody to whom something is done, which is very different. O'Malley and Tynan take this thinking even further and argue that in terms of current marketing practice, it is issues of profit, segmentation, and enticing the customer to engage in some form of manipulation that remain paramount. In some cases, this leads to customer exclusion. And this means that companies focus only on the profitable groups and fail to consider the needs of those consumers who may need to rely on the company or just simply wish to do business but are being excluded. O'Malley and Tynan say issues of organizational profit, segmentation, and customer manipulation remain paramount, and more worryingly, issues of customer exclusion. Berry proposes that there are various levels of bonds in a relationship. As the levels increase, the degree of customization of the service offering to the consumer increases as well. In addition, the ease by which other companies can copy this service decreases, so the potential competitive advantage to the company increases as the relationship develops. So firms try to move buyer-seller relationships from the lowest to the highest level of the continuum of relationship marketing to strengthen the mutual commitment between them. In the relationship marketing continuum, there are 4 levels. Level 1 is where there is a simple financial bonds. Financial bonds are built when loyal customers are rewarded with incentives that have a financial value, such as, say, cashback or a form of loyalty points. Financial bonds are the superficial level. They're least likely to lead to long-term relationships. And marketers rely on pricing to motivate these customers, and competitors can easily duplicate these pricing benefits. The next level is social bonds, and these are typically based on personal relationships between the provider and the customer. Alternatively, it may be that you feel pride and membership of owning a particular product, and therefore you develop a social bond. Social bonds are harder to achieve than financial bonds and take longer to foster. They provide a single point of contact with a customer. Level 3 is customization. This is where strategies involve a two-way flow of information that creates a marketing mix that is in some way tailored to the consumer. You can see in the examples given, personal preferences and payment dates in a banking context might be an example. Structural bonds are level 4, and they're mainly seen in business-to-business settings because they require a degree of investment in, say, a change in business practice or consumer behavior. So that level of structural relationship tends to relate to a partnership being formed, and therefore is not often seen on the consumer side, but it's certainly a level of development in a relationship that you would see in a business-to-business relationship. So there are some who argue that CRM is a new paradigm for the world of marketing. CRM is a business philosophy based on individual customers and customized products and services supported by open lines of communication and feedback from the participating firms that mutually benefit both buying and selling organizations. So this is viewed as being a business philosophy. It's truly open and transparent, and it's reflexive in the way it does business between the consumer and the organization. And that kind of characterizes it as something that can do no wrong, since it's working for mutual benefit. This leads to the idea that as the company learns more about the consumer and customers learn to trust the company, then the sales that start to emerge from those relationships become almost redundant, because the thing that is important is the relationship itself. The buying and selling firms enter into a learning relationship, with the customer being willing to collaborate with the seller and grow as a loyal customer. In return, the seller works to maximize the value of the relationship for the customer's benefit. Well, all of that sounds very rosy and cozy, but what are the managerial implications of this? Well, let's think about that. What we're looking at is a series of interactions rather than just one transaction. And so this brings into play a different way of looking at consumer decision making. Instead of seeing each consumer decision as a 5-stage process, we're trying to move the consumer to habitual decision-making mode. So it goes need recognition, purchase, evaluation, rather than having to go through the initial stages of information search and evaluation, followed by need recognition, purchase, and evaluation. So we need to make sure that every interaction counts positively towards our relationship with the consumer, to allow them to shorten that decision-making process and make future sales more likely. So not one transaction, but a series of transactions. The objective is to create mutual benefit, meet the needs of both the consumer and the company. So there are implications around resources and expectations here. We need to be clear on the benefits that we offer consumers and make sure that consumers actually experience these benefits when they become customers. We need to make sure that we meet expectations and also that we manage them. So therefore, we need to know that our staff and our organization are ready to develop relationships, and this can be done through training, reinforcing and rewarding best practice, and making sure that the right resources are in place. But this is all very much time and money investment intensive. So we need to make sure we are managing, meeting expectations, and keeping our promises through communication and dialogue with our customers. And we need to make sure that the staff and the organization are ready for relationships. In summary, we've identified the benefits and the rationale of the concept of CRM through looking at the benefits of customization, discounts, and ease of use. We've looked at the dangers of CRM, how certain customer groups can become excluded by the focus on strategically significant customers, and that CRM is still largely done to the customer, not for the customer. And we've considered the managerial implications. Is the business relationship ready? And all interactions need to be planned, mapped out, and trained for.